okay, I think I'm supposed to talk to you about the ego death. And then I think Cressida's going to come in and she's going to talk to you about the channeling that you want knowledge on.
Yay! Okay, good.
Well, it's really, sometimes it's hard to put things into words whenever you have this whole ocean of knowledge and you're trying to form sentences, but I'm going to try my best. So the quickest way, first of all, I would encourage you, even though I don't think either one of you do this, to not do the hallucinogenic drugs, because even though that will cause you to have an ego death, it's just temporary. It's not a permanent one. And that's the reason why people feel so blissful when they do those things. Because when you do have a complete ego death, you actually start a phase in your life where you're the most blissful that you could ever be. And as long as you keep remembering your ego death and not get triggered, then you can continue to live in that blissful state and continue to ascend through the dimensions. Does that make sense?
Yes, because we want ours to continue, or we want it to, when it's done, to be done.
It will be done, but it's also it's also a lifelong practice, because there will be moments when you're tempted to be triggered. So you just have to have a lifelong practice, and I'm going to tell you the things you can do to do that. So the quickest way to have an ego death is to be selfless. You see, it doesn't even matter which form you take, but it can be as easy as letting someone else dominate a conversation, even though you have strong opposing views to their views, but just letting them have their moment to dominate a conversation. That's selfless, because you're not forcing them to listen to your opinions and your views. It could also be giving. Doesn't matter if it's giving money or resources or your time or your energy or your patience or whatever it is. If you're giving something and you don't have any expectation of getting anything back in return, especially if you're giving to the point where it's uncomfortable. Once you start giving to the point where you're thinking this is a little uncomfortable and I'd rather be doing anything else, or I'd rather be spending my money on something else that I want to spend my money on instead of giving it to someone that is not going to benefit me at all, you're actually experiencing a huge, huge progress in your ego death. Like, even if it's not giving somebody money, even if it's not donating to a charity, because there is no right or wrong way to be selfless. It's a state of being. So let's say, for example, you could go and help pick up litter at the court square, or you could volunteer at the animal shelter, or you could go to your at-risk youth program. I think it's called Real Hope. You could volunteer there for a couple of hours to read to children or help them with their homework. You could go feed the dogs at the animal shelter. You could go paint a wall. Anything that you're not getting paid to do, and especially if every ounce of your ego is telling you, I don't want to do this. This has nothing to do with me. I want to be home doing my own comfortable thing. There's not going to be anything I can tell you specifically. If you're giving somebody $100 and you're not sure you're going to get that money back, that's wonderful. I'm not saying be stupid. I'm saying that when you're doing something sacrificial, whether it's your time, your money, your energy, your patience, anything that you're doing that's sacrificial to where another person gets all the benefit and you get no benefit at all, that's the fastest way to an ego death. That's the reason why people that are in abusive marriages, or people that are in prison, or a priest that is never allowed to get married, or especially the monks. You know, the monks, they're not allowed to have any of earthly pleasures. Did you know that?
I do now, so you told me.
Right, so the monks in India, you should study the monks, and I'm not telling you that you should be one at all. I'm not telling you that at all. I'm saying you could get a lot of insight by studying not only the monks, but India, the gurus of India. The gurus of India have mastered over and over and over again, many times over, the ego death.